Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's office hours. Just to be sure, can everyone hear me? Hi, can everyone hear me, please? You can signify in the live chat if you can hear me. Okay, so we'll just give ourselves like 3 to 5 more minutes for more people to join. So once they join, we can start. So about 2, 3 minutes. So I believe everyone can hear me now. Okay. Let's just wait for about 2 minutes, 2, 3 minutes, then we can start. Okay, we have not started yet. We are still waiting for more people to join. So when I start, I'll let everyone know. We've not started yet. Okay, I think we can start now. So I'll start recording. Uh, okay, so welcome to office hours for today. So my name is Enny. For those who don't know, my name is Enny, and I am a Python backend mentor for this cohort. So this year's, for those who have joined previous years, this year's office hours is a bit different because if you have ever attended a live session, you will know that our live sessions are always a mentor taking a topic and teaching that topic. But this year's cohort, as you would probably hear in the onboarding session coming on later today, we'll be talking about mostly asking questions from the students. So our office session, our office hours is more like a question and answer segment where you drop your questions and I get to answer them. So can everyone hear me? We have started. Okay. So it seems some are having issues hearing me. So if you cannot hear me clearly, please, I would like you to probably refresh your internet if that is possible, or check your audio devices. Yeah. Okay. So if you cannot hear me, please, I would like you to just check your audio devices. So is there any question that you would like me to answer? Probably something you are unclear um regarding this restart, the topic, whatever. Uh, so you can just drop your questions in the chat. I am monitoring the chat too, so I can see the chat. So if you have questions, we can just. Yes, so I'll just, okay, for those who cannot hear, probably just type something in the chat now. So you can go through. Yes, we will be learning Python from the basics, from introduction to Python. We will be using any Python framework. Yes, we will be using Django. So for those who do not know, Django is a backend Python framework for server-side applications, for building server-side applications. So as we go later into the cohorts, we will get to learn about Django. So, okay, I failed to mention, I would not be answering any question, like I'll not be giving an answer to the task itself. Like if you expect me to give you an answer probably regarding a task, a question in the task, I would not be able to do that. I would do that after this week has ended. So probably next week, then we'll go over corrections regarding the task. So if I skip your question, because so many chats are coming in at the same time, if I skip your question, please, you can retype the question if I do not answer it. Okay, so okay, so now there's an interesting question here. It says, so do you mean we won't be taught? You will be taught. So the reason why we made it into a more interactive session, like a question and answer discussion, is we would like everyone to prepare beforehand. So before each class, we would like you to prepare beforehand. That is why most of the resources have been given to you. So we have all the resources on the Zuri YouTube channel, and we have sent them out. So If you can't see the resources after this class, you would get it. So we have all the videos for the curriculum in the Zuri YouTube channel. So it has been collated and it will be sent. So our office hours will be more or less a question and answer segment or a question and answer section. So it depends on how well the week's task or the week's curriculum uh, is understood. So I will go over it from time to time. I'll taking some topics, taking some tricks, some hacks and stuff like that regarding Python. So you will be taught. So regarding the task here, there are some resources. There are some resources that would. Hello. Can everyone hear me still? I believe everyone can. So there are some resources for this week that will aid in the task. So if you haven't gotten it, you will definitely be getting it today or tomorrow after the onboarding. When is the training starting and is the training going to hold on only YouTube? The training has started already and you should have gotten an invite to the LMS and also an invite to the Slack. So I don't know if you registered for this year's for this cohort. If you did, you would have gotten an invite. So you can message coordinator and they for more info regarding that. So the class is for Python backend, for Python, yeah, Python. So we haven't gotten to the backend part. So this class is for Python. Yes, we will try as much as possible to cover the basics. We will try. So the training is targeted for beginners, total beginners, those who do not know anything regarding programming or Python itself. So we will be going over it from scratch, from the basics. So the resources that will be going out, the resources are targeted for those who have no prior knowledge to programming. What is showing, like I am sharing my screen, and that is not the workspace. This is Python's website. So let me just give you an overview of what this week is supposed to cover. So for this week, we are expecting everybody to have in their computer Python. So we are expecting everybody to install Python. Now, if you want to install Python, you will need to go into, if you are using Windows, you will need to go into Python's website. This is Python's website. So you need to follow the installation guide to download and install Python for your computer. No, so okay, I think there's a mix-up. People are misunderstanding. We are going to be having live classes. This is a live class. This is a live class. So alongside the recorded YouTube tutorials on the Zuri channel that will be giving out, we will also be having a total of 5 hours each week. for our live classes, but it's not a standard class where I come, I teach all through the 5 hours and I go. It's more of an interactive session where you have questions and I answer them. I go over things that are not clear and we all go back happy. So it's more or less like that. Knowledge of front-end. No, knowledge of front-end is not required for Python. Django is, someone asked, what is Django? So Django is Python's backend server-side framework. So when we go, so for now, just forget about what Django is. Let's focus on learning Python. And if you're already good in Python, or at least if you have knowledge of Python to a degree, then you can just DM me on Slack and we can just go over. But for now, we'll still be getting to Django and we would see what Django is and how to use Django. So are there people that cannot hear me? So I'm typing. So if you cannot hear me, please check your audio again. I doubt it is from my end. Okay, if you cannot hear me, I doubt you'll be able to hear this. So I'm typing it in the chat. Okay, yeah. Another important thing is editors and compilers to use. Yeah. So someone asked if you can use Jupyter Notebook. Yes, you can use anything that runs Python. So as long as you have Python installed and as long as you can run Python code on your computer, it is fine. I do use VS Code, Visual Studio Code. So I use Visual Studio Code to run my Python. So anything that works for you, you can use PyCharm, Jupyter Notebook, VS Code, Notepad, whatever works for you. As long as it runs your Python code, it's fine. So for your questions regarding the training itself, you can keep that to like the onboarding. Yeah, so we'll be having an onboarding, probably have the mail already. So we'll be having an onboarding later today. And you can just ask your questions like the timeline of this tutorial, the cohorts, and some other questions you have. So someone asked if they can ask questions not related to Python. So I don't know if you can elaborate on that. What do you mean not related to Python? What questions on what exactly? So can I download Python through VS Code? No. If you're on Windows, you cannot download Python through VS Code. If you're on Linux, Python should already come with Linux. But if you're on Windows, you don't need to download, you can't download Python through VS Code. It's only when you are using Linux that you can download Python through the terminal. But on through VS Code, you have to go to on Windows rather, you have to go to Python's website to download Python. how do we install Python? So that is actually part of the resource that will be given or that has already been given up. I'm not sure if it has been given out yet because I see lots of people saying they do not have the resource yet. So I would have to confirm. Now, also, our Python office hours will run from Tuesday to Thursday. So Tuesday 3 to 5, Wednesday 4 to 6, and Thursday, I think 4 or 5. So you should just check your calendar. It should always be there. Okay, so someone asked, is Python same as backend? That is a very interesting question. So Python is a programming language. But okay, so if Slack is not, I see lots of people, sorry, I'll come back to what Python. I see lots of people complaining about Slack. So if Slack is not working for you, please reach out to the coordinator. You probably will be sent a new invite. Now, as I was saying, Python is a programming language. It's a high-level programming language. So we can use Python for so many things. We can use Python for scripting. We can use Python for data science, data analysis. So if you are looking to go into data analysis or data science data on, you are going to definitely need Python. Python is also used for ML and AI, machine learning and artificial intelligence. So you can use Python to build bots, um, artificial intelligence, and the rest of them. You can also use Python to build back-end applications. So back-end and front-end, back-end is the server-side logic of an application. So back-end, when we talk about back-end, we're often referring to uh, server-side logic of our application. So the front end is the parts that a user sees. So for example, we are in this Python web page. Yeah. So everything I can see and interact with, the buttons, the links, the text inputs, all of them, they can be categorized as the front end. So the server-side logic database where the user stores information or where information is stored and things like that, the scaling of the application and stuff like that. So they can all be termed backend. So we can use Python to also build backend server-side applications. Now, what else can Python be used for? Python can also be used to build mobile apps, but it's not a route that you can advise anyone to go into. Okay, so is um can am I audible enough? Because I can see someone talk about my volume. I should increase my volume. So please, am I audible? Am I loud enough? Can everyone hear me? I like to believe I am. So the question says, please, uh, what is the difference between PHP and Python? PHP is another language on its own, and Python is a different language. Both are two different languages. PHP can also be used to build, or is also used to build backend applications. So there are two different languages. We have so many languages. We have Python, PHP, JavaScript, Java, C, C++, C Sharp, Dart, Go, lots of them. So depending on your project, yeah. So someone asked if you'll be building all kinds of applications like web apps, mobile apps, and it depends on your track and the projects you're given at the end of the learning phase or the training phase. So we have the learning phase and we have the project phase. So the project phase, you'll be expected to build an application. So most times it's always the web app. Web app, you have to build the front end, the back end. There'll be people, I don't know if there's like anyone in the full stack track or learning front end here, but you'll be required to build front end applications. So like the project itself. So you have front end developers in your team, you have designers in your team, and you have back end devs. So you all will be building an application. So it depends on what the application is. It's not yet decided what the application is going to be that you'll be building, but you will definitely be building a project. So I'm not really sharing or showing anything on my screen. It's just like a Python to know that this is a Python class. So it's really nothing. So you should not bother about what is showing on my screen. Okay, so someone, okay, sorry, Thompson, if I didn't get your question earlier. So it said, are we expected to create a URL in order to submit our task? Now, most of the people that submitted their tasks in a document, in a Google Docs folder. So they shared the Google Docs folder to like the submission link or something. So what you do is you can just paste your answers in like a Google Docs, and you can make sure, please, now this is very important, make sure those links are public. Make sure everyone can see those links. If not, you will not be graded in your full marks. So make sure your links are public. So when you are trying to submit any external link, any Google Drive, your GitHub repo, whatever it is you're submitting, please make sure your links are public so everyone can view them. I just tried installing Python, but I have like 5 folders. So how exactly would I be able to know what to use? I don't think I understand your question very clearly, because I know that when you try downloading Python, it's not downloading in a folder. You are downloading the .exe file and you have to click on the dot. So I don't know if I can quickly okay, so there is this. So if you want to download Python, obviously you have to come to uh this web page here. Click on download Python. So you download Python, then voila, you download it, but I'm not going to download AWS because I have Python installed on my computer. So what you are going to do is just give me a second. I have to, because I don't know exactly where my Python file is. So I need to look for it. So I have to just stop sharing now and go through my computer right now to look for, because it's been long I downloaded Python. So I have to look for the exact file. So when you download it, yeah, you should see the .exe file. So just give me a second. So you should see the .exe file. I'm going to look for my Python file, please. The reason why I am not downloading Python again, just to show, is because I do not want to have multiple Python versions on my computer. I just want to have one, and I like the Python version I have. Okay, I think I can see it. So while I do that, let me answer. So I have not yet talked about the installation of any Python. So if you are just coming into the class, yeah, you are still safe. Yeah, this class is recorded. No, so like I said, you are not expected to create a URL. You are expected to create a file, a Google Docs file, and save the and send the URL of the Google Docs file. So that is what you are submitting, the URL of the Google Docs file. What's the difference between web development and full stack development? Interesting question. So web development is, like the name says, you are developing a web application, a web project. You are developing a web project. So you are building a web project. Now, full stack development is both the front end and the back end of an application all together. So that is just like the basic explanation of what a full stack development is. But going deeper, it also involves the DevOps side of a full application, because it's not just the front end and the back end. We have so many things. We have the DevOps too that handles the deployment of an application. So they handle deployment and sometimes even scalability of an application, make sure the application does not break when you deploy it and things like that. So full stack development is a combination of both the front end and the back end. So web development can just be front end. So most time you can hear front end web development, back end web development, then full stack web development. And full stack is just like you're combining all the stacks of an application, like all the stacks that require you to build an application. So it can also reference, like you can also use it when you are talking about mobile applications too, like, but most time you hardly see people talk about like full stack mobile development. It's you mostly use full stack when you are talking about web development. So it involves the front end, the back end of an application, of building an application. Sorry, I lost track of the. Okay, I think I. are not creating the complete project. Your team would be required to build a complete project. So you'll probably be handling a facet of the application. So it depends on what you're good at and what you're comfortable with. So you could be handling the front end, you could be handling the design, you could be handling the back end, depends on what you and your team agree. Python has different versions. What makes one version better than the other? So with all application or with all with all application out there, when you release a new version, it means you are making it better than the previous version. So the previous versions of Python, so Python's 3.6, 3.7, 3.8, 3.9, and therein they do have some things that Python 3.10 differs from. If you go, let me show, I stopped sharing my screen. Just give me a second. Just give me a second. I'm trying to reshare, but then I also remember that I was trying to, okay. So okay, so can you all see my screen? You should be able to see my screen. Now, this is my download folder. It's a bit messy right now. I just need to be sure that everyone can see my screen. Can you all see my screen, please? No reply. Can everyone hear me? I can't hear anybody reply. I can't see any reply. Okay. Yeah, okay. So if you notice, this is my download folder, yeah. So it's a bit messy. I have these two applications, these two Python versions here. So you have Python 3.8, Python 3.9.5. So I think I downloaded one in June. Oh, June 2021, and the other one I downloaded in September 2021. So Python 3.9, I had Python 3.8 before, like I was using Python 3.8. Then I had a project that required me to use the latest version of Python. So the projects had the Python version that was different from the one on my computer. So I needed to download Python 3.9. Then I tried deploying it on a cloud server, and the tool that was supposed to be used to deploy the application with it's only compatible with Python 3.8. So that is the thing with Python versions. There are some tools out there that you would need to work on your projects that a certain version of Python will not be able to cover. So Python 3.10 right now is the latest version of Python, and it is, I think I just gave an expo. Okay, so it's the latest version of Python, and you should if you go to the documentation here, you would see what is new in the Python version and see how it is different from the previous version. But anyone can work as long as it's from Python 3.6 and above, because most tools are compatible with Python 3.6 and above. So you can use Python 3.6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's really nothing bad about it. But right now I don't even know what Python I have on my computer. I think Python 3.9. I'm not using the latest version of Python yet. Okay, so I think I answered that. Oh yeah, the reason why okay, so now if you want to install Python, yeah. So when you download Python, this is what you would see. So you need to download Python for your operating system. So looking for Python with a different my operating system is obviously Windows. So I have Ubuntu, but it's WSL, Windows subsystem for Linux, I think. So when you download Python, you should see the .exe file here on your computer, the part you downloaded it, your download path rather. So you click on the .exe file. So if you click on the .exe file, please take note, this is for Windows. This is for Windows. This is for Windows. So when you click on the .exe file, you should see this modal here. This modal is to come, then to tell you install now, customize installation. So at this point, I would advise everyone to just use, now you can use install now, it will help you install everything. But later on in the course, we will need some tools, and you would only get those tools when you customize your installation. Or you can also avoid some errors when you customize your installation. So you can just please click on add Python 3.9. This is your Python, add Python to parts. It depends on your Python version. So if you are using Python 3.10, you should see add Python 3.10 to parts. Please don't use Python 3.9 because I am using Python 3.9. You should use the latest version of add Python 3.9 to parts for me. So I click on this, you check this box here, please. Then go to customize installation. Now, if you see, I have all these ticks. So in case if there's any of them here that is not ticked for you, please, you can tick them. So documentation, pip, TCL, TK, and I do Python test, just tick all of them. Then click on next. Now, this is very important, this option here, add Python to environment variables. This is actually very important because for your computer to globally recognize your Python commands or your Python, that Python is installed on your computer, and you need to add it to your environment variables and your paths, what we did previously. So I added it to parts. Then please, if this is not ticked, like let's say this is like this for you, please just tick it. I really wish I can zoom this this dialog here, but I can't. It's very, I don't think you can resize it. So click add Python to environment variables. Then you can just leave every of them unticked. So associate files with Python, create shortcut for installed application, Python to environment variables. You can tick all three of them, then click on install. But I already have it on my computer, obviously, so I am not going to install again. So when you click on install, it should install Python for you. So that's just an overview of how to install Python. So if you want to check if Python is installed for you, just come to your command prompt. Come to your command prompt. I hope you can see my screen. come to your command prompt and click on Python. So once you click on Python and you press enter, you should see this. Sorry, I can't see it. I can't read. I'm not reading any questions yet. So if you have a question, you can just put it on hold for now. So it's when I come back to the question. So when I click Python, I get this interactive shell. It's called shell, Python shell. So I see this shell, which is different from our command line. So you should see the Python version, Python. Okay, I have Python 3.9.9. Then I can write some Python code, 1 + 1. So you can use Python as a calculator too. Yeah, so that's just it. So I think that's about that. Now let me go to I don't even know where I stopped. So please, if I omitted your question, please just resend it. I am a data analyst and I have a lot of Python background. What can I do? So if you're a data analyst and you have lots of Python background, you can just see if this training is for you. Although this training is targeted for beginners, those who also have knowledge of Python can learn and also stick around to learn. Although we will not be going into data analysis, we'll be going into the backend Python track, Django. So if you feel that Django is something you would like to learn, then feel free to stick around and enjoy the program. Can we download Python with our phone? So yes, there are Python interpreters for the phone, for phones. I have one on my phone. I don't even know the name, but give me a second. It's called Python PyDroid 3. That's the name of the one I have on my phone. PyDroid 3. So there's another one, QPython, that you can use. So how do we make our links public? You can that's more of a, so you can just go to your Google Docs and the place where you see share links, you can go to share links and anyone with this link can, you should see something like restricted or anyone with this link can view, something like that. So you should, so I'll tell you to just Google that. Yes, you can have more than one Python version on your system, but it's really not advisable to have more than one Python version on your system. It's really not advisable. So you just have one and stick to it. Yes, it's okay if you have any idea you use. VS Code, Python, um, what's the other one? Um, is Anaconda an ID? I've forgotten the other ones, but Python, VS Code, it's fine. You can start with the latest version of Python, Python 3.10. No, you can only use Django to build server-side applications. You can only use Django to build backend applications. That's going to be so challenging. I don't know how best to answer that. Um, when you say challenging, it's kind of relative. To some people, it's not challenging, and to some, it might be challenging. So we made it such that everyone should be able to answer or go about the task. Um, no, so Python, like I said earlier, um, our office hours would be 5 hours a week, 5 hours a week. So it's showing a file with I do. Yeah, if it's showing a file with I do install certificate command, then it shows that you have installed Python successful. So like I did now, you can just go to your command line, your command prompt, and you can just click on Python, and you should see if it works. So if I click on Python, or let me do it again. So if I click on Python, I should be able to see this interactive window here. So if that comes up, yes, you have Python installed. Yes, use Django with a database. So you use Django with most times you use Django with relational databases. You use Django with MySQL, Postgres, um, SQLite, um, mostly relational database. You can also use Django with MongoDB, but you use Django mostly with relational databases. So most times you have to be using MySQL and Postgres. Um, would you be certified? Yes, you'll be certified. You'll be given a certificate at the end of the program. How to make that? So if you want to check if your links are private or public, you can just go to incognito tab and click on that link. So if that link um shows what you want another person to see, then it is public. But if it is showing you like an error message that says this file is restricted, then no, it is private, then and you should try to make it public. Is it going to be fun? Fun is relative too. So if you feel you can, this is something that might give you fun, yes, then it's going to be fun. How do you connect VS Code and the downloaded Python? So if you have Python already installed on your computer, then you should just click on VS Code. Now, when you try to run a Python file on VS Code, it will automatically run because VS, it's like Python is already installed by your computer, so you don't really need to do any extra work. So what you just need to do is you just need to download extensions. So we'll be going to that later, so we don't confuse those that don't understand now. So I would like everyone to at least have gone through the resources for this week before we start going in depth into code. So since this is our first office hour um for this training, it is just like a simple introduction to Python and what we can use Python to do. I think the training spans through 10 weeks. Yeah, I think about 8 to 10 weeks. I'm unsure about that. Yeah, around 10 weeks. Yeah, should be around 10 weeks. Yes, your attendance counts. Yeah, you can use the default installation. So even if you have the default installation, you can still go back to customize it again. So you can still follow the same steps I used. So just go to the custom and do this installation process and retick all the boxes that you feel should be ticked. Then click on install. So it's not going to spoil anything. It's just modify the installation for you. So it's still good. Yeah, you can download Python as an app. So the one I have on my phone is PyDroid 3. So you should check that on Play Store or App Store. So PyDroid 3, I just sent it to the YouTube chat. The name of the is it true that total beginners in programming shouldn't start with backend? That is actually very, I don't, things like that are most times opinionated, but the truth is, yeah, backend can be quite tricky. So if you have no idea, most times, especially if you are a web developer, it is always advised, like most times the usual route or the usual what's it called, the usual path people take is front end to back end. But you really can start with anyone if you feel you can do it. It's really not that's bad. So as long as you feel you can do it, carry on. How do I get a Siri.team email address to be able to join Slack for the second task? Are you on the LMS? If you're given an invite to the LMS and you've accepted, then you should be able to reach out to or send an FAA question in the discussions part of the of the LMS, and you should be able to get an answer. Total beginners can start anything, be it mobile, web, anything. You can start anything. Yes, you can. The one I have on my phone is Pydroid 3. There can be better ones out there. I really don't. I had it code on my phone. So not Pydroid, like Android Pydroid. I had the code on my phone, so I just have it for reference purposes. Maybe I just make me want to do something, and I'm not on my computer. But yes, you can download the Pydroid 3. Then you can also, I think I know one, Python, then some other ones. You should probably just check online and check Play Store too for the ones you would like. After installing Python, what next should we do? Do the task. Just do the task and wait for more tasks to drop. So after the the third week, or as we go deeper into the training phase, we will get into more advanced Python. So for now, we are in the beginner part of Python, like the early stages of Python. So how do you install VS Code? You install VS Code same way you install Python. So you can just go to download VS Code. Then you should see it, download Visual Studio Code for Mac, for Windows, or for Linux. So this is it. So Windows, then it will automatically download. But I already have it, so I'm not going to download it. Can you brief on Python itself? Or so what? So like I said, Python. Okay. So for those who were not here when I started, so I said Python is a high-level programming language that can be used for scripting, can be used for backend development, it can be used for AI and ML, artificial intelligence and machine learning, can be used for data science, can also be used for what else? It can also be used for mobile, but it's really not advisable to use Python for mobile. And then that's it. How do you install Python for Chromebook? So I don't think I have ever tried installing Python for Chromebook. So have you tried this method? Does it work? So let's see, there's a so Python for Chromebook. So I think it's the same method. You just have to install Python. You have to install the one for Windows, I think. So you probably should just check on this link. Oh yeah, someone said I mentioned bots. Yeah. So bots are AI too now. So you can also use bots to you can also use Python to build chatbots and same question. I have seen questions asked on the issues to email to join Slack. So if you are talking, so do you have, are you on the LMS? Because it is, um, so, okay, so the thing is, Slack link expires when you get the updated link. Okay, so is there going to be exam? No. So at the end of the training phase, there'll be a project phase where you'll be required to build a project. So your project will be scored, obviously, and you would be given a set of your project meets the requirements. So yeah, can't you use the extension of VS Code? Okay, I don't think that question is directed at me. I think it's someone replying to another person on the chat. So what are we going to be doing with Python? We are going to be building backend applications with Python. So what, okay, yes. Oh, yeah. Someone asked what framework is used for automation in Python. So Selenium. So there is a web testing automation called Selenium. So yeah, you can also use Python for web scraping and web automation. Yeah, I totally forgot about that. So you can use Python for web scraping and web automation. So there are frameworks for scraping and doing automation in Python. So think for scraping, there is Scrapy. So Scrapy is a framework for web scraping, and um, for web automation and testing, you have Selenium. No, no special steps in installing VS Code. So just follow the directions to install VS Code and you should be able to install it. Okay, so are there any more questions? Looks like nobody is asking any question. Or can everyone hear me? Can't say question again. So, like I explained, for those still complaining about Slack, you need to, once it is updated, you need to join immediately. So, probably it has not been updated for now. So, you would not be able to join. So, once it is updated, you should join immediately because the link expires. So, there's an expiry limit, the time limit on the link. Yes, please download the latest version of Python. Okay, so there's still questions. Um, so if you have questions, please you can ask. So any question regarding the LMS or the Slack link can be asked on the LMS, and you should probably just wait till the and if you have questions regarding the training, some more questions regarding the training, you can just ask at the onboarding today. So there's going to be an onboarding today, so you should just ask. Um, how do we confirm that Python has been installed on Windows? So like I said, just go to your command um line, your command prompt, and type Python there. So if it shows you an interactive window, like if it does not show you an error that says Python is not recognized as an internal or external command, then it shows that Python is installed. So I would so before um so I would advise or I would like everyone to go through the resources before the class tomorrow. So we'll have more questions on the Python um topic for this week. So, like I said, today is just like onboarding for the Python class. So from tomorrow, I would love us to go into Python really. So we'll be talking about the 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 week's topic. So the week's topic spans from introduction to Python, Python installation, to variable naming conventions in Python, then now statements in Python, list dictionaries, data types, etc. So when you type Python, it did not show anything. Yeah, but can you see, did you get an error that says Python is not installed as an internal external command? If you don't see that error, then it means Python is installed already. Sorry, please give me a moment. I'm trying to, but I keep seeing. So, so are there people that? So I'm trying to make to confirm if the resources are on LMS. So it looks like some people have seen the resources on LMS already. So it is already on LMS. So you should just go to the published post on the LMS and you should see the resources for this week. So yes, the tasks are on the LMS. Um, so someone saying, how do we know that Python? So this will be the last time I'm mentioning this, please, because we keep going back and forth. Um, go to your command. Okay, so I am on my command prompt here. Now click Python, just type Python, just type Python, and you should see it go, you should see this interactive um shell here. So you should see the Python version you have and some other information. So this is just it. So please just take notes. Just it's not hard to know if Python. Okay, so um also you can check common. Also you can check your Python version to know. Oh, can check your Python version and yeah, so subsequent times we would be using Zoom. So this is streamed, this live, this this YouTube class rather is streamed from Zoom. So from time to time we'll be using Zoom so that we can get to be more interactive, share screens and stuff like that. So So someone said at the end of the training, what next? Like, how good are we expected to be after this training? So it depends on your level, and we expect you to be good enough to write Python to work on an application. Now, I personally am not a fan of the whole level, junior, intermediate, senior. I just feel if you are good enough, you are good enough. So as long as you are confident in your abilities and you know and you can back them up. So that's just it. So are there any more questions? I think it's just people chatting with themselves. I don't think LMS registration is still on. No, I think I've already answered you, okay, Chuku. I don't think LMS registration is still on. Well, I'm going to confirm. What's the location for classes? The location is still the same YouTube channel. So you should be able to rewatch the video again. You should be able to, but it's recorded just in case you cannot, but you should be able to do so on the YouTube channel. So is there any more question? So the reason for the task is for you to go over the resources and learn Python or learn what this we are supposed to cover for this week, then go to the task and see if you can do the task. The reason for our office hours is to explain things that are not clear. So our office hours will not help you solve your task, but it will help you understand. It will put you in the right path and help you understand what you are unclear of or unsure of in Python. So you need to go watch the videos for this week. So it's already there. They said you should go to the LMS and check for the resources. Someone said that we're going to be taught DevOps in this program. Did you enroll for DevOps? No, I don't think DevOps will be covered. I don't think DevOps will be covered. Yes, yes. So I'll probably be sharing other materials besides the videos, but I'll have to check. So I'll probably be sharing that. But let's see how we'll um the videos go, how far the video goes in people understanding. So, oh yeah, sure, you can, the whole cohort every year. So if you feel that you are still not ready for this year's cohort or this particular cohort, you can um part of the next one that will be coming up next year. Yeah, so the Python class is for Wednesday, Tuesdays to Thursday. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So yeah. It is still on Zoom. So tomorrow's class will on YouTube rather. Same way you are attending the class right now. Okay, so do we still have questions? Do we still have questions or there are no more questions? So it seems like no one is asking any question again. Um so no, DevOps is not part of this Python course itself. So I am in charge of taking Python. So Python DevOps is not a part of this course. So, like I said, I would not be. So I've already answered questions regarding the Slack. So you need to keep um checking your mail because and keep trying to join immediately you see that the mail the invite changes, the link changes because it expires. So I would advise everyone to try to make sure they come to the class early or to the office hours early because it will avoid repetition of questions. Like the questions I'm getting now, most of them have been answered 3 times already, twice, 3 times, 4 times already. So this is a Python class. This is not a front-end class. Is there a link between Python and front-end? Why are they together? So they are probably together because I like to believe that you're talking about when you were trying to enroll. So they are probably together because the course is a full stack course. So they have the Python and front end. That means backend and front end because this backend will be covering Django, which is Python's backend framework. So please, for the Slack questions, please just keep the questions till the onboarding where you'll be able to. It will be talked about there. If you cannot join Slack right now, you definitely the links will be updated and you will definitely be able to join. So for now, focus on the task and the video resources on LMS. So is there any more questions? What is the difference between Django and Flask? Which is the best? So Django and Flask, which is the best. So Flask is also a Python backend framework. Yeah. So if you are going to be building a lightweight backend application that does not require much, so you should use Flask. But Python is great when you have a very big project you want to use. Python also has some things that makes it great for backend development. Django rather has so many things that are great for backend development. You have the out of the box content authentication. We have the content administration that it comes with, RSS, geolocation, and things like that. So when you are working with a project that require a very large backend Python project, I would advise you to use Django. But if it's a very lightweight thing, then you should use Flask. But you find out that most times it's not, there's really no like you don't really have a particular framework or language that is better than the other. It just depends on what you want to use them for, your needs at the time. So if you feel it's something you might need, okay, your needs are best suited for, you can use either Django or Flask. So it just depends on your needs. Apart from installing Python, what other software can I install on my system for this class? So for now, just Python. So as we go further into the class, you know what else you have to install. But for now, Python. So let's not so how to install Python on Mac OS. So for those of you asking how to install Python on Mac OS, there is already a part of the resources you have how to install Python for Mac and Linux. So you should probably check that out. No, by Django and Flask are not installed automatically. You have to install them separately. So, like I said, we'll be going into Django in depth later on. So just don't worry about. Will the video be available after this class? Yes. I think you should be able to rewatch it on YouTube also. So it looks like nobody is asking any question. Okay, so someone has been asking for attendance. This is the first class, so attendance is not taken, or but you'll be advised to attend all classes. Yeah, so for now, just install Python and that's okay. So like I said, please let's try to come early to all office hours because we would try to limit as much repetition as possible because I still keep getting same questions over and over again. So no, DevOps is not taught in this class. So please take notes. What else? No, DevOps will not be taught. Okay. So are there still questions? Would anyone like to ask questions? Okay, so since there is an absence of questions, so thank you all for joining the class. It was really fun. And okay, someone asked what is DevOps. So DevOps has to do mostly with um how an application is being deployed. So you should probably just go make a little more research on what DevOps is. So DevOps handles deployment of an application to mostly cloud servers and make sure they work. So obviously we build applications on our system, but it needs to be hosted somewhere over the cloud. So DevOps engineer handles deployment over cloud services, cloud storages, and stuff like that. So can we use JavaScript for backend? Yes, Python is not the only language you can use for backend. Python is not the only language you can use for backend. You can also use JavaScript for backend. You can use C#, that is .NET. You can also use Java. You can use so many things for backend. Go, we have so many backend frameworks and language, even PHP too, and so on. Yeah, it is possible to download Python on a 32-bit system. So please just go over the resources. The resources is already on the LMS. We have every use case there. Okay, so are there books or you can give us to read on our own? So like I said, I think I've answered this. I said after this class, I'll probably before tomorrow's class, I'll probably check for resources that can be useful. So for now, this is just the first class, so it's an onboarding, like an onboarding for Python. So we just come talk about we've talked about Python and what we can use Python for, and I think I've gone over the installation of Python too. So yes, we'll be taught Django. I think I've answered this like a quadrillion times. I don't know when front-end class is starting. You should check your calendar for that. Okay, so looks like there are no more questions. So thank you all for joining. It was really fun and interactive, and we hope to do more of this. So tomorrow, please do not forget, we also have a class by 4 to 6. Yeah, and on Friday, so I can't remember the time on Friday. But tomorrow 4 to 6. And so have a lovely day ahead. Have a lovely evening. Thank you all for joining. My name is Enny, and we would talk more later. Bye.